Jailer Rock here with another toy bargain hunt, and this is Ross versus Marshalls. I'm going up in here checking stuff out. So we're gonna start with Ross because Ross has always done me well. They actually seemed a little light on the left hand side. If you guys have been to Ross's, usually they have like toys on the left and they have toys on the right and then a back wall, and then sometimes they have some of those aisles in the middle. So I got to see, what's going on. And what I really like about checking out Ross is it kind of gives me an idea of what isn't selling that well. And I've lately been buying on eBay. I've even been selling some things on eBay, and I've been able to see that all this stuff is linked up, which I mean shouldn't be a surprise. But a lot of things that I'll see here, all of a sudden eBay you'll see they're cheaper. Amazon you'll see they're cheaper. So it's like those 12-inch figures. I see that all the time. But sometimes there's bargains in here too that I find it and I'm still surprised. I mean, so far here I haven't seen anything. I just like going in and looking at everything. That's why my toy hunt videos are done like this, where I kind of look at everything, because I'm just curious. I'm curious to see like, hey, what's selling, what's not, what looks cool. I'm always curious about like, why did a bunch of things show up. I'm kind of curious why those 12-inch Titan figures don't do well. Like lack of articulation. Did they feel too cheap? Was it targeted wrong? Did they think little kids wanted it but they didn't, and then collectors don't? If anyone knows the answer to that, I'd love to be educated, to tell me in the comments. But I'm always on the look for like a really good bargain, or maybe some kind of diamond in the rough here. I always like looking at Hot Wheels stuff because you never know what you'll see. I'm not really a Hot Wheels collector per se, but you never know. I actually do like picking up Hot Wheels when there's just a bunch in the bag. I'm curious about this Mars line. I never looked into it, but I've seen that at lots of Rosses. Yeah, they still have a couple of the Batman things. Those little figures, I don't know, they just didn't do that well. Same with a lot of the smaller figures from the Batman movie, like Penguin, Catwoman, Batman. Those didn't do well. However, some of the bigger stuff did, and you'll see that coming up. I always like seeing some of Jurassic Park. I never was really into Jurassic Park as a toy line, but some of their vehicles look cool, so I might end up picking one of those up one of these days. I also use this to look for items to purchase for the toy donation drive, because I like to donate toys myself, as well as people who click on our Amazon wishlist link in the description, because all the toys get donated to homeless kids through birthdaydreams.org. So I'm always on the lookout for good low priced toys that I think that kids would like and stuff like that. So usually I try to wait until it's like lowest. So that section didn't have much. Now this is kind of like the shelves, so this is like directly to the right of where I just was, and this is where I usually can find something. Sometimes people hide things in the back, so that's why you'll see a lot of me moving things, because this was where I found the Junkion Transformers for $18. It was like, I don't know if it was actually someone hid it or if it was just in the back, but it was just one and it was sitting in the back. That huge skull thing just tripped me out. I thought it was cool. But what I really like about Ross in sections like this is you can find some of these larger play sets for a really good deal. Now you see that McFarlane Toys Bat Cycle. Okay, so if you guys watched the video from yesterday, you know I got this. So spoiler alert, I got that bad boy. Look at that, $8. That's a good deal. I was like, okay, it's like I'm still looking around, but I'm already like, yeah, I'm gonna get that bad boy, cause that's a good deal for that vehicle. I don't know if that had a problem selling. I actually did check. I think it was Amazon and stuff. It was a little bit cheaper, but it's not $8 cheap. So that was definitely a good deal. Um, I don't think I found much else here. I always like to check, like I said, those figures. I like the My Hero Academia anime. I'm not caught up on it though. I think I'm only on like season 4 or something. Always Roblox. Roblox has a permanent spot at Ross. um, but honestly, like, I'm looking around, but I'm also like keeping an eye on that because I don't think I saw another Bat Cycle. So I just wanted to make sure someone didn't come up and snipe it, because people will do that, man. I've had someone, now it wasn't something I was after, but I had someone straight up sneak up and reach over, like over me, and grab something. And I was like, damn, like if I wanted it, you know, you were just like, nope, just snatch. And I've been watching like a lot of these videos where people are going to estate sales, and man, watching those people grab stuff is just funny, man. You thought that, like, if you ever watched the movie Jingle All the Way, where it was Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sinbad, and they were fighting over toys, man, people are straight up like that. Alright, so this is like right on the lower shelves of where I was. I'm still like looking around, trying to see if there's something else I can see, but at the same time, I'm keeping my eye on that Bat Cycle because I want that. And that's one of the reasons why I do voiceover more than talking, because like there was a kid like arguing with a parent about stuff. There was music playing, then someone was like yelling or something, and I'm just like, I don't know. That's one of those things. I know some people like that live stuff, but I'm not a talker in public, especially not loud enough, so I'd either be whispering and it would sound all jacked up or something, and then you'd be hearing all that noise. So I prefer voiceover because this gives me a chance to watch the video, see what happened, and then talk about it, and it's like I just prefer it like that. But Ross is really a good place. I'm curious to see. I've never been to Ross during like a Black Friday. I don't know if they do extra things. That might be something that I need to do this year, is check out and see what happens. But yeah, so far didn't see anything. Like, again, almost every time I see some kind of superhero thing, it's those 12-inch Titans. And it's, you know, they don't look terrible, but it's definitely not something that I'd want to collect. I think this was one of the play sets. Yeah, look at that. I mean, yeah, it's nothing spectacular, but that's a cool little play set for, like, you know, an actual kid. So for $19, I mean, that seems kind of nice. Doesn't that seem like something like your aunt or uncle would buy on the way to like your birthday party? Like, you know, they don't really know what to buy you because they don't pay that much attention, but they just grab some on the way. You know, I used to have like a lot of relatives that would come over to my aunt's house for Christmas. Here's that another playset. Look at that. That one's even better than the other one, and it's the same price, 18 bucks. Oh yeah, there was this one Transformers, but this wasn't a line I was into or nothing like that. But for Christmas, I would have like people come over, and I remember at one point there was this person that came over, a couple of aunts and uncles, not like real aunts and uncles, we just called them that. And you could tell they stopped at Walgreens, like, or maybe even a gas station, because they got me like a barrel of those green army men. It was like 200 army men in a barrel. It looked like those old KFC buckets. If y'all old enough to remember that, it looked like a KFC bucket of green army men. And I was just like, bruh, really? Like, I know I shouldn't be like that. I should just be happy to see him or whatever. But I was like, bruh, you just stopped at the gas station and grabbed whatever off of the shelf. But that was it for Ross. So now we move over to Marshall. So you saw, basically, I'm gonna tell you, so far, that all I got from Ross was that Bat Cycle. So now it's up to Marshall's to see who wins, and I want the audience to tell me who wins too, because these two are right next to each other, and most of the time Ross kicks Marshall's butt. But let's see if that's the case today. I noticed that Marshall's has a lot more younger age toys. Not really what you would call collector class, if that's even a thing, or if I just made that up. Um, so a lot of this I'm kind of speeding through just because I know it's not something I'm into. Um, Again, this was another place where, man, it was like kids were just like running around, and some kid was mad because the parent said you could only get one toy. Shh, I'd be happy for one toy back in the day. But yeah, it's like it was loud, and they were playing some weird like mixes or something. I swear, it sounded like one of the employees brought one of their mixtapes to work, and they was trying to get a record deal or something. It was terrible though. They do have really good prices though. You'll see coming up something that I didn't expect to see. This US Army stuff, that's kind of interesting. I think if I was to tell a collector like what could be a good thing about Marshalls, it would be like if you're trying to add items that aren't, I guess you would say, like a legit item. Like let's say you're a G.I. Joe collector, but you want to just have generic army cars or vehicles or something. Marshalls is a good place like that, and so is Ross, because you can find stuff like that where they might have Jeeps, planes, things like that, really cheap. Yeah, it's not going to be G.I. Joe, but as I said, this is like maybe like alternate or something. You know, like G.I. Joe has sometimes some generic army people that they work with too, so that could be cool with that. That Harry Potter thing was just interesting, just because it was just not something that I knew about or expected to see. So that was like a little like, huh, you know, when I was looking around. But not a lot else was drawing me in. I was surprised how much Sonic stuff. Now here we go. So see, now this was where I was like, huh, you see, I picked that one up because that was interesting. And look at that price, $7. That's not bad. That one is based off of the Netflix series. So it's, you know, newer style, but I still thought that was cool. And I don't actually have any Masters of the Universe. And here's the other thing I saw. Now, if anyone's been watching my channel, they know I collect My Arcade, and I don't have that. And look at that, it's $20 in case you didn't see it. And that's good, because when I started collecting, like during COVID, a lot of them were $20. But since then, go look up My Arcade, the 6 to 7 inch versions. They're really expensive now. And I'm lucky I got almost the entire line while it was still cheap. But $20 for that. I don't think I picked it up actually in the end. No, actually I know I didn't pick it up. But I still give them points for having that, because there's actually 2 of them there, and I thought that was cool. Maybe I should have picked it up because I don't have that, but I kind of moved on from My Arcade for now because I went from My Arcade to starting to collect G.I. Joes, then I started to collect Transformers, and then I fell down the rabbit hole, and here we are. I'm hunting and doing videos about Ross versus Marshall. So thank you, collectors. You drew me into your world, but I love it. So again, I also am always on the hunt for toys to add to my bin for the toy donation drive. So I'm always on the lookout to get. I like to try to get a variety of toys, just so that in case a child is like, oh, I'm into Jurassic Park, you know, then maybe I can be part of that package that Birthday Dreams puts together. I don't know why I laugh, but whenever I see an outdoor toy, the first thing I think to myself is kids play outside. Oh, I know they do. I know they do. Again, I don't know, I kept looking at that Sonic. It was just interesting to me. It was kind of cool. I just thought about like a racetrack game for Sonic is kind of cool. This was interesting too. Wheelbots. I haven't heard of that. I don't know if it's an off-brand or what. So this is kind of like their little aisle section. That was mostly kiddie stuff. They had these little remotes, but nothing I was like, oh, this is great. Yeah, little car sets. Again, nothing that was drawing me. Now, I think here coming up is where I found the other thing. I didn't know some of those gel figures, those like puffy figures, actually sell for a decent amount on eBay, which is strange. Had some, yeah, this was more just very strange variety the way they lined this stuff up. I always liked Ross and Marshalls just because of that, because it was just like all this stuff is, it almost looks like you're in a thrift store. It's always interesting to me. But yeah, so far nothing here is catching my eyes. Now remember, for all of you guys watching from wherever you're at, if there's things that you see that's awesome, let me know, you know, because I'm still not experienced in this. So if you guys and gals saw something cool and like, hey, you didn't talk about that, you missed that, let me know, because I am interested. I want to learn. Those Bend and Flex figures, I see that often. I see that, like those little Jurassic Park stuff, like that's cool. Like those are things that I'll go back towards the end of the month before I take the toy donations in, and then pick up a couple just to add to it. I checked that out just because it was like, I think it was the only TMNT that I saw that, but it was just funny that it's basically just a pizza set. Junior Tools, I just thought that was interesting. Just a bunch of like tools and stuff. Like the sushi stuff, that was interesting. So I just like it because it's like, oh, that's cool. And then so that was it. So there was one other Masters of the Universe that I picked up. So it was, in the end, it was 2 Masters of the Universe that if you watch the What's in the Box episode yesterday, and then it was versus the Bat. So that was the mix between these two. But if you like this video, please give us a like, a sub, all that good stuff. We'll be back with another toy bargain hunt very soon. But until next time, remember our motto: no discount, no deal. Catch you next time.